Raising quail chicks without a proper brooder is like trying to babysit toddlers in a house with no walls, chaos, confusion, and probably some lost, unfortunate souls. These tiny velociraptors hatch ready to run, and if you don't have a warm, secure setup, you're going to have a rough time. But don't worry, I'll tell you exactly how to create a safe and efficient brooder so your quail chicks survive their fragile first weeks and grow into the productive little powerhouses you need for self-sufficiency. Newly hatched quail are the definition of fragile. They need warmth, security, and stress-free environment to make it past those first crucial weeks. Your brooder setup doesn't need to be complicated. A plastic storage bin, a large tote, or even a modified aquarium will do. The key is making sure it's draft-free but still well ventilated. Quail chicks are tiny, about a third of the size of a baby chicken, and they lose heat fast, so keeping them cozy is priority number one. A heat source is a must. A heat lamp works, but a brooder plate is even better. It mimics a mother bird's warmth and reduces fire risk. Keep the temperature at about 99 degrees Fahrenheit for the first week, then lower it by 5 degrees each week until they're fully feathered. Sometimes you can even lower it 5 degrees every couple of days. Watch your birds. I will mention here that some people say they can't keep their quail warm enough with a plate. So if you're raising them in a garage where it's cold, you might need a heat lamp to keep them up to temperature. Bedding matters. Paper towels work well for the first few days since they provide traction and prevent splay leg, a common issue in newborns. After that, pine flakes or puppy pads are a solid choice. Avoid anything slippery like newspaper or toxic like cedar shavings. I recommend flakes and not shavings. Quail will eat shavings, become full, and decide eating is no longer a good idea. Hemp bedding is my favorite. It stays clean the longest. Feeding is simple. High protein game bird starter feed, 28 to 30% is a must. Regular chick starter won't cut it. Don't be tempted to grind it down into a fine powder. I know they look tiny, but I promise they can eat the game bird crumbles. If it's too fine, they won't be able to properly digest their food and they'll start dropping for what seems like no reason. Water needs to be shallow. These guys are notorious for trying to scuba dive in even the most shallow water. Use marbles or pebbles in the waters to keep them safe, or now they have quail waters available. Security is another big factor. A solid lid is necessary because, believe it or not, they start jumping at just a few days old. Nothing ruins your day like a tiny ball of fluff springing into the air and forcing you to leapfrog after it. You can turn the heat lamp off at about 10 days old, but keep them in the brooder until they're about 3 weeks old, at which point they're ready to graduate to an adolescent setup. That's when things get a little less delicate and a little more chaotic. But don't worry, I've got you covered.